His father ran a grocery store and played everything from reggae and dancehall to straight up techno around the house. So by the time Emma was old enough to actually
dog no come up in a poverty. Damn. I don't know if father want a grocery store, dog. Dog, his son too privileged now. Need some ignorant violence, bro. What is this? Father own a grocery store, what? Alright. Today we are watch why Skillibeng abandoned dancehall. Abandoned dancehall. By dancehall decoded. May we hear him say?
Skillibeng is one of the most successful artists Jamaica has ever produced, performing at countless shows overseas and even
dog, when Skillibeng did just a was, what may I say, insert relatable short story. Yeah, dog, me used to listen whole heap of Skillibeng, dog, when in the just a bus, whole heap of Skillibeng, whole heap of Ritical, it's what them used to listen to. When Skillibeng album, was it an album? The one with John Sport and all of them. Yo, me used to listen to the album this. On the bus when I go to school, me did have some knockoff Apple earphone. Me did have some of them there. And me used to plug them on my Samsung. Oh my god. And me download all of the songs on the album. And when me download all the songs on the album, me get one app to get the cover to put on it. Cause me I play it on my music app when me download off a Play Store. So me get one app. Like put the cover upon it and get all of the metadata to put on the song to make it look officially like them actually have the album. Them time them never know about no Spotify and them things there, dog. So you know, that would I live with. Me that create my own cover art for the album them one thing. Not my own, but me that find the correct one them. But yeah, dog, me that listen Beer, Skillibeng, the album tough. Me listen to the album there about 100 times. If me have Scrabble or whatever if we count like how much time I listen to that song there. Me know say, yo, it would have high. Not the song, the album. The album did tough. But then, Skillibeng, like, I gonna make him talk. Did the video, yeah.
Becoming the first to hit the Billboard Hot 100 in years with hundreds of millions of streams. When he first came onto the scene, he did so by feeding the fans and posting 40...
Wait. A Cocoa Tea? Is that the song name? Not to remember. When I sang them where him did boss with, now I have a Cocoa Tea name or something. Like, you know you have Mr. Universe. I don't remember that. I have one about when I use my chopper phone, not chatting alone. And then you have I don't remember if a Cocoa Tea or something dog. I don't remember. But it's tough.
3 songs in a single year alone, making sure the entire years with hundreds of millions of streams. When he first came onto the scene, he did so by feeding the fans and posting of millions of streams. When he first came onto the scene,
it looked like one Nike. Wait.
100 in years with hundreds of millions of streams.
Yeah,
when
catch it. Wait,
came onto the
so Gymshark-ish, but then he looked Nike-ish again.
Scene, he did so by feeding the fans and posting 43 songs in a single year alone, making
43
sure the
songs in a year is
was
crazy. 40 minutes, I could have make one song in a 2 years. I could have do it, dog. I could have do it if I put my mind to it, you know. You know, my mother believe in me. My mother say me smart for you. I can do it for you. But a whole heap of song that
fed and knew his sound fully, and people had it in their heads that this was the next Vybz Kartel, affectionately calling him the Prince of Dancehall. But that was why it was so surprising that as the years would go by, fans would notice that as
Skillibeng's song one day, I'm saying I'm a Prince. Yeah.
Would go up, his music would go down. People would accuse him of watering down his sound, losing his skill, and becoming trash for the sake of appealing to the
dog, what do you mean hear the song with him and Coffee? He dog not losing skill at all. Yeah man, him still have it, man. Come like him just save it for special occasions now, but may I tell you? Song tough. tough. I'm aware that the song tough.
International market, leaving behind his original dancehall hunger so much that in contrast to the 43 songs he would release in his breakout year, in this current year of 2026, Skillibeng has only released one song onto his actual page.
No, dog, you see, you don't really get it, dog. You see, he must spend more time on the craft now, intentional with the drops. You see me? Song like wap, 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 dog. You just not understand, dog. You don't have the intellectual capacity to comprehend the no more big word.
Has been features, appealing once again to people overseas. And this is where many people have been asking, what happened to Skillibeng? Why did he choose to change the thing that made so many Jamaicans love him in the first place? And how did a man go from somebody that people viewed as the next king of the genre to a person who is now mostly viewed as just a feature artist? Well, trust me when I say the explanation is layered. And for any of this to make sense, we need to take it
off. A feature artist. Okay.
All the way back to the place where it all started, in the lovely parish of St. Thomas, where young Emma Warmington...
I wonder what going over so much talent over St. Thomas, dog. Talent there Jamaica upon a whole, dog. But St. Thomas have Chronicler, St. Thomas have Popcorn, St. Thomas have Skillibeng, St. Thomas have, I think St. Thomas have Jada Kingdom too. And then St. Thomas have G and Ken. them creative. Tough YouTubers. Yeah, but well, St. Thomas have. St. Thomas just have beer people, dog. Like something I walked over St. Thomas, dog. I just beer talent.
Would attend the Morant Bay High with nothing but a pen
and Montego Bay as well.
His dreams. Emwa had a love for poetry and English class that most of his friends did not share, and would spend his time freestyling lyrics for anybody that would listen. His father ran a grocery store and played everything from reggae and dancehall to straight up techno around the house. So by the time Emma was old enough to actually...
Damn! What? Dog don't come up in a poverty. Damn. No, if father want a grocery store, dog. Dog, his son too privileged now. Need some ignorant violence, bro. What is this? Father want a grocery store, what?
To chase a dream of his own, his influences were already baked in. Popcorn, Idonia, Mavado, Lil Wayne, and of course, Vybz Kartel. But having influences and actually making it are two very different things. And after high school, Emwa did what most responsible kids in his position would do. He went to work at his father's...
To be honest, me hear him call Skillibeng name about 100 times and I still don't know what Skillibeng name. Nothing. When him say it again, man,
treating music as something on the side rather than the actual plan. But he was still putting in that work, and in October of 2015, he released his very first single, Pain and Emotion, and decided to go by a name that his friends had given to him back when he used to always freestyle in high school. A Jamaican street phrase that artists would shout out before starting a performance. That word was Skillibeng. After entering the scene, Skillibeng would follow up with songs like Skilly She Love and Brain Parts, as he would really try to grind and make a name for himself, but to little avail. And for the next few years, this was pretty much it. A random kid with a 9-to-5 balancing a dream that didn't seem to be going anywhere special. But that was until one night in 2018 where young Skillibeng's life would change forever. He had just left his 9-to-5 at his father's store because despite him having music on the back burner, he actually managed to secure an interview with Jamaican DJ Superhype. Despite how much he really wanted this though, because the interview was all the way in Portmore, he actually ended up running really late. And so as you can probably imagine, he was not about to let that stop him. But it was unfortunately as he was driving across
that traffic there if you go, I don't know which part him drive, they drive off it we are not off it, well, you know, Kingston side, but Jaja.
The parish that every driver's worst nightmare would occur. The vehicle was no longer in control, and as a result, the car would crash, suffering immense crippling damage that left it looking almost entirely destroyed. Skillibeng would survive, but the deep pain, trauma, and lasting impact of this incident shifted something in his brain completely. He realized how short life was, and that if he wanted to live it, he needed to really go after what he wanted. He would use it to make a life decision, saying, and I quote, "You got gotta be devoted to what you're doing. You have to make a choice. And he did, because soon after he would quit his job and go full steam into the music. A decision that little did he know was right on the cusp of shifting everything for him and his family. Around 2019, after Skillibeng had started locking in on his career and dropping like crazy, some highly important individuals would enter his vicinity. In St. Thomas, it was difficult to get attention or resources from established producers in Kingston, so many of the youth in this area decided that they would just do it themselves. And they would decide to form a group called East Side Records, a group that coincidentally included some people from Skillibeng's high school. With them being on the same mission, he signed to them without hesitation and would drop more songs like his debut EP.
That's the album me I talk about, The Prodigy. Our mixtape, car name I say it's a mixtape. Cocoa Tea. Oh, me need to me remember the song. I remember Cocoa Tea. Call me beer and Cocoa Tea. Ah! Oh, forget it.
Prodigy, throwing song after song into the atmosphere, looking for his moment. But little did he know it was right around the corner, because by June of that year, he would do something that not even he expected. There was a day where Skillibeng was simply sitting at home with his grandmother when a beat would come on that caught his ear. He didn't reach for a pen or write down a single word beforehand. He simply opened his mouth and freestyled the entire thing just right on the spot. Brick, and just kept going until the idea was fleshed out. And despite his grandmother's confusion, he said to her, "You're gonna see, this is a hit right here." And I'm not gonna lie, he did take some time to prove his point, because when he would drop the song on June 9, 2019, it would barely get any views initially. But as the months would go by and he would push it harder and harder, a few more thousands started to come in over
I remember when they on the bus, them a go man that a play.
Of months. And eventually by the end of 2019, due to the viral exposure of Instagram memes and consistent love of the people that did find the song and kept telling their friends about it, the numbers would see a meteoric rise. And once he saw the 10,000, 20,000, Skillibeng decided he would invest in an official music video. And when this would drop on December 8, 2019, everything he ever worked for would pay off, because the song would go so viral to the point that he would get 100,000 views in just 24 hours. With the lyrics referring to the new trend of Jamaicans singing about lottery scamming and an infectious rhythm with a catchy chorus. This song was the perfect way to start the new year, and everybody was playing it. It was all over Instagram. TikTok barely existed, but TikTok too. On the radio, blasting out of cars. Over the next few weeks, this song would literally take him from nobody to a man who could boast that he now had 1 million views. And people started integrating the phrase brick palm brick into their daily language. Skillibeng's impact on Jamaican culture was becoming more and more solid every day, and they were about to find out that this man was not just a one-hit wonder. As soon as Skillibeng's year had started, unfortunately, just 2 months later, the entire country and the world itself would fall into tragedy as the C-19 virus would take over and everybody was in quarantine. Parties, shows, and the general music industry was shut down.
Wait, March 2019 or March 2020? I know said the COVID-19 could start, but I'm thinking late 2019 and then March 2020.
But for a new artist who never had any of that yet and his main following was on the internet, this was a prime opportunity for Skillibeng. And he would release music like an absolute madman, dropping songs like Defy the Odds, Vicky C, Mr. Universe,
Defy the Odds, but my rose that grew from concrete.
From concrete, Shake featuring fellow upcoming artist Jada Kingdom, Vengeance Ways, Torpedo, Badman Ting, and many more. With this man delivering a full year of hits after hits that was only reminiscent of one person who had previously taken over 2016 just a couple years before him. There was nobody messing with Skillibeng in this year. But even among hits, you have the special category that almost never gets touched. And Skillibeng had no idea that he was about to see it for the first time. Or maybe he did, because the transition was almost intentional. A good way through this year of dropping dozens of hit songs, Skillibeng would come to realize something that usually takes artists a lot longer. Even though you start off by being super witty and having crazy lyrics and flows, due to the language barriers present, that is usually not going to appeal to markets outside of Jamaica. So he would consciously decide that he was going to try something to slow his choruses down and heavily simplify his hooks. And one of his first attempts at doing this would completely change the trajectory of the rest of his life. That September, after dropping...
That did intentional and him say, yo, this way I go do one, that, and that. Crazy.
over 20 songs for the year already.
I think him did all do a remix with Crocodile Teeth with Michael Rennie Jr., the youth from Power. Yeah, they do a remix with him, Crocodile Shark Teeth or something like that. It never gone away, but I don't know if it's gonna overseas. Probably that's like the overseas Crocodile Teeth. Well, you know.
Skillibeng would be chilling in the studio with 2 producers, and out of pure and utter boredom, he started messing around over a mellow, almost haunting piano beat. He was not trying to write a hit song or a classic, and even went on to say it was literally me making a fool out of myself in the studio, like dumbing out and talking some crazy stuff. And this random session of him not taking it seriously would become a song he would release on September 21 called Crocodile Teeth. And this song, to his surprise, would absolutely reach the stratosphere, exploding and racking up multiple millions of views in record time. The song Skillibeng made as a troll was playing in everybody's house, car, and all over Jamaica. But this would become the start of a trend that we would observe throughout the rest of his career. Because for the first time, it was not just Jamaica.
No, but True.
Tuning in. After the song would reach over 10 million views in a crazy time frame, it would reach the ears of international audiences, with Burna Boy, Rihanna, and even Drake sharing the song and getting it played on his own OVO radio station. A level of exposure he had
flex the iPhones.
Never previously been privy to, all because he decided to dumb it down and focus on the other markets. And once he saw how effective this was, nobody could stop him from going full steam. Because if a dumbed out version of his usual self...
yesterday me hear somebody play or today. Yeah, I think today. Me hear somebody play, them that play one by Jamaican song and them that play Wap 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 Wap. What I did the remix with the, I don't know if it's a Canadian or it's a American or it's a Jamaican or just sing in an American accent. I don't know who, but the remix with that you they never needed for the remix at all. Yeah, I don't know what for.
Could go this far. What could an absolutely dunce version do? Well, we were about to find out. Around January of 2021, after Crocodile Teeth was peaking in popularity, there was a news report that sent chills and extreme curiosity through everyone in the country. A small plane had mysteriously crashed off
the plane just crashed with the coke. Me no put it in my nose. Sell it. Bombard.
Coast of Rocky Point.
Anything in man, they drop then time.
Nobody knew who the owners were or where it came from. But the allegation was that it was transporting heavy-duty drugs. And while the police were still actively investigating the scene, trying to figure out what was going on.
Me think he make a song like, you get the news tonight and then like the next night, I think a song drop. Some crazy like that.
Skillibeng's eyes lit up and he saw an insane opportunity. As soon as they got the chance, they drove all the way out there in Clarendon, jumped on boats and literally searched until they found the wreckage of the plane in the ocean. And with the determination of a man in a movie, this guy literally filmed an entire music video and everything on top of the plane. But as much as the concept and visuals were insane, the fans would be a lot less underwhelmed with the song itself. Because despite the almost 1 million views it would get in 24 hours, the fans were saying things like, yo, what the hell are these lyrics? With some OG fans even referring to it by the term fuckery. Instead of the typical lyrical barrages they were used to, the song simply started out by saying, the plane just crashed with the quack, and just repeating that along with similar lines over and over again. It was referred to as lazy, and while they praised his marketing and ability to capitalize on the situation, they thoroughly criticized the lack of substance. But while his home country was getting on his back about the song, Skillibeng would see a different level of praise from once again outside his own country, with the song racking up multiple millions of views despite the criticism and reaching the ears once again of the foreign markets. America, England, Canada were all appreciating the hell out of this quote-unquote dumbed down song. A different ball game when it comes to money. But if he thought this was crazy, he had no idea what was about to come just a few months later. A few months later, in May of 2021, Skillibeng was minding his own business when he would be contacted by one of the biggest artists in the world, a woman who is known for jumping on remixes and going crazy. And this was none other than Nicki Minaj, a frequent lover and supporter of the...
Yeah, and she do a remix with Skeng as well, don't? And Nicki Minaj,
the Jamaican space. But the craziest part about this was that she was not simply offering to jump on the remix for him to post. She actually was about to release an album called Beam Me Up Scotty, and the Crocodile Teeth remix was on that album. And if Skillibeng thought he saw foreign exposure and money before, well, you can imagine how he felt when this song became his very first entry onto the Billboard Hot 100. No, not the reggae charts, the main Billboard Hot 100. And yes, he would still go back to dropping his normal music and even a project after this, but something in his mind had permanently shifted forever. He had now seen a new ceiling on what was possible with his talent.
For a while, and probably even right now, Skillibeng are the overseas artists. Like, them draw for him. Like, if you say, yo, man, draw for a Jamaican dancer artist right now, either Skillibeng or Popcorn. Crazy.
Be interviewed around
probably
this
Cartel now, because Cartel just come out. But, you know, a Skillibeng and Popcorn. I got the Popcorn, I hold it, and then Skillibeng come up then.
Where when talking about his ambitions, he would say a lot of collaborations in the international space. That's where we've got to go out and put dancehall on the level of R&B and hip-hop. That's my aim now, to uplift dancehall and put it on that level. And as you can see, it's working already. And on the surface, this sounds amazing. Jamaicans love international recognition, and everybody wants to see the country and the genre be put on the map. But maybe this sounded a lot better in theory than in practice. Because when he would actually start, people would have a completely different reaction, and social media itself would implode on Skillibeng for the first time.
Never mind it, dog. He might do the right thing. Because if he never did, it would have just there, yeah, the listeners and say, yo, this stuff. He might have drop song, oh, yo, this stuff. He man is an artist, dog. He man have places he want to be, man want carry music. Go somewhere, make him man carry it, go somewhere. And they just want to hold on him, man, brother.
Ever. Not long after, in the same year, when Skillibeng would drop his first ever studio album, Crocodile Teeth, filled with American features like Bobby Shmurda and Rich the Kid, something else would also happen for his career. Word had begun to spread around the industry that Skillibeng signed a deal with RCA Records, a large American record label.
Oh, that is a record label? All I remember from RCA are the Bomba tablet them what them used to make. Yeah, because of them, they all. And they have two cousins where they have the RCA tablet. I remember record label. I remember RCA and Play Store and all that.
Label under Sony Music. The same label as artists like SZA, Doja Cat, and Alicia Keys. But the thing is with American labels,
Alicia
they try to put on this front as if they sign people because of their great talent. But the real reason they sign any artist is because they think they can make money. And that
talent. They sign an artist because of them talent. Talent. Oh my God. Can you make us some money? You're marketable? Okay. That one.
Is exactly what they're going to encourage you to do. And so it was to nobody's surprise that that very same week, Skillibeng would drop a song that was specifically dedicated to the international market. Everybody would log on to see a notification that he dropped a song called Wap Wap, featuring a largely unknown artist named FS. Everybody thought this was going to be another gun song.
Oh, so that's not a remix. The man that just dip on his song. Yeah, him never needed it at all.
That it could be enjoyed by listeners in and out of the country. But when they turned it on to listen to it, they were hit with the surprise that the song...
Remember, what me did do when I listen to that song? Remember me listen to that song, our morning me I go to school and I put in that song. I say, what this me really I listen to? What this me really I listen to? No man, what this me really I listen to? Why?
Was absolute garbage. Well, not garbage by today's standards, but back then, you could not even imagine the level of hate that this song got. With instead of real lyrics, Skillibeng simply going on the chorus to say, wap, 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 wap. And yes, the song spread like wildfire, but for all of the wrong reasons. With social media stating things like, this is the worst song.
But hear what? All of the judgment, them, you still have to go listen to it though. You still click on it and listen it and comment, oh, this is shit, blah, blah, blah. And get that listening ears.
Since the start of the year, and I mean in the entire solar system. This is a social experiment to see how much shit Trinidadians are willing to listen to. Skillibeng is the biggest flopping disappointment ever. Forget the stupid views and hype.
Crazy.
Lyrically, he's got nothing left other than repetition, with people doubting whether or not the prodigy himself could even write real lyrics anymore. And as much as
you see me tell about that coffee bombard, the coffee song where him feature upon my dear. Tough. Tough. The coffee song there, dog. Check it out, check it out, check it out. They not pay me for that promo, but check it out.
You would expect this hate to destroy the song's trajectory. While the Jamaican fans were complaining and chastising, something else was taking place. The song's momentum absolutely did not stop. And even though it was being shunned by his home country, places like New York, Miami, and England thought completely differently. And they would rinse the song to no end, shooting up the views to 10, 20, 30 million, up until it became the most popular song he had ever released in his career. This song that was so hated by his own home country was getting him shows all across the world, and people would come to know just how big it was when one of the biggest rappers in the entire industry.
At them time, they know say music very, very, very subjective, you know.
A young boy would make an entire Wap Wap remix, not even with Skillibeng as a feature, just him loving the beat and making his own version. Then the UK artists followed, Digga D, Run Suno, and eventually men like French Montana and Fivio Foreign would jump on a remix as well. While Jamaica and Trinidad were in the comments calling the song garbage, the rest of the world was saying, yo, who is this guy? I love his music. And once again, the money and opportunities that come with this are a different ballgame. And Skillibeng took very great note of this. But he was not the only one. An A&R at Skillibeng's record label would describe him as a quote-unquote unicorn, where even though he was a dancehall artist, he still put him in the category with the big rappers. Because everywhere he was at, that song was being played. All because, once again, people who did not understand Patois could sing along. And this life-changing distinction was not taken lightly, as they would start off 2023 with a completely different energy. The first track of the year was not a stereotypical dancehall song, but instead 16 Chopper featuring uprising rapper at the time, Nardo Wick. A song that, while not particularly lyrical, almost seemed like he perfected the formula. Because
me hear them that play that one day.
he got his memorable chorus that is still played in parties to this day, while still saying enough that the Jamaican fans were entertained. And Nardo Wick also had a good verse as well without taking too much of the song. It genuinely seemed like a new era was coming, because this would basically make Skillibeng the first dancehall artist to perfectly merge the space between dancehall and modern day rap. Yes, Sean Paul did it back then, but many people saw him as more like a pop star. Skillibeng would basically be the first young DJ to fully make it in that regard. But it was after this point that unfortunately something would happen, and instead of becoming the perfect hybrid, he would choose to go in a completely different direction. 2023 would come and go, and although 16 Chopper was not the only song Skillibeng would drop for the year, as time would pass, it would become more apparent that his frequency would slow down. In 2020, the year Skillibeng came into the game, he dropped over 40 singles in that year alone. But in 2023,
time the man did hungry, but I'm not hungry again. He thinks the man need to drop what? I'm glad I get 3 songs, man think tough now.
he would only drop a handful, and perhaps he noticed this and decided to feed his fans at the end of the year. But the project he would decide to drop, Prodigy Ladies Edition Part 2, out of the 14 songs, only one of them people actually liked enough to become a hit. And if the fans weren't feeling neglected enough, not only did this album not get a single music video, but it wasn't even on streaming platforms, only YouTube and Audio. This was since the start of his career, his least active year.
I don't know the album they at all. What? I don't know the album they at all. Probably I force him to drop that on YouTube or something.
People thought this was bad. They had no idea what was about to come, because 2024 would change everything, and Skillibeng would almost completely disappear. For the first quarter of the year, there was almost nothing, and for the first time since Skillibeng blew up, there would be a 6-month gap of any music videos being posted. He would post once, and it wasn't even a quote-unquote serious song, more so a TikTok remix he made of an American rap song called Never Lose Me. 2024 was moving, and Skillibeng's discography was standing still. But that might have been because he had a crazy opportunity in the vault that nobody saw coming. Apparently, in October of the previous year, Jamaica was visited by South African superstar Tyla, recording songs and wrapping up the final touches on her album. And at some point during that trip, she was released. If you want
as an international artist, if you want a song for boss, just link up Skillibeng. Man, I go mad up your song, feature, good, you're gone, great. Yeah, you just can't go wrong.
To it, and felt that one of the songs, a song with a unique, punchy, almost jumpy energy, featuring herself and the American rapper Gunna, was missing something from the record. And of course, that was an authentic Jamaican voice. And so, with no hesitation, she told her team to reach out to Skillibeng. And when the song would drop in March, it went absolutely insane. The TikTok trends, the media outlets, Skillibeng's verse being the first on the song, and people making hundreds of thousands of TikToks to it, everything pouring into the song and causing it to gain millions of of streams in just a matter of weeks, and it was so clear it was about to become a hit. And by the April, the song was at #1 on the Afrobeats chart in the UK and stayed there for 6 consecutive weeks. It went gold in the US.
That song, no, me see that song they pop up on my Spotify. The day it come out, it did pop up on my Spotify.
Canada, Brazil, and New Zealand, and debuted at #49 on Billboard's Hot R&B and Hip Hop Songs chart, making Skillibeng the first Jamaican to appear on that chart in over a decade. And if this wasn't crazy enough, just a few months later, Tyla would win the award for Best New Artist at the BETs, and after that big speech would immediately walk onto the stage to perform this song, and the person performing with her was Skillibeng. And with such an amazing moment for his career going on, you would think that he was about to go on a generational run. But instead, it was the complete opposite, and as Skillibeng found more favor with these masses, his discography of dancehall on his own page would dwindle completely. That year, as Jump would take over the charts, months upon months would pass, and Skillibeng would post damn near absolutely nothing. The only songs he would drop were, and I quote, $1 Million Baby Remix, which I don't think I need to say why that doesn't count, and Boom, which to be fair did get a lot of play in Jamaica, but didn't really reflect online. And so for this entire year, Skillibeng would go from the 43 singles he released in 2020, the 38 singles in 2021, all the way down to just 2 songs for this entire year, and 2 remixes that are basically just meme songs. The only thing he was getting praised for was being a feature artist on somebody else's song, and this would become the start of a new era of Skillibeng that nobody could have seen coming. Now, once again, I guess Skillibeng did acknowledge that he didn't drop anything for the entire year, and so would decide to feed his fans once again with a project at the very end of the year to finally satisfy what they've been waiting for. But this time, there was just one problem, and it was a far bigger issue than the last time he did this. The last time, the album got no music videos, wasn't on streaming platforms, and only had 1 hit song. But this time, there was a lot more to say, because when everyone logged on and saw that
for the girl one,
Skillibeng would announce that he was releasing a 41-track album, more than anyone had ever dropped before. We thought we were in for an absolute feast of hit songs back to back to back, feeding Jamaica after starving them for damn near a year. But tell me why, when the project dropped and we listened to the songs, almost every single track on that 41-song album was straight garbage, straight dog shit. And as a fan, I am telling you that this is some of the worst music I have ever heard in Skillibeng's discography. Possibly the worst in dancehall.
Yes, no, me never listen it still. Me never listen it.
We got them big sticks. I fuck your bitch, I put my dick out, then she lick it.
Is this even mixed? No, like, I'm not even joking. Many of these songs legitimately sound like they are not mixed. Something that I almost want to say is not Skillibeng's fault, but you heard the fact that these songs were not being mixed and you still dropped them anyway. And listen, out of 41 songs, at least a few of them had to be good. So there were some decent moments on the record. My favorite being this one that actually is really good, and I feel like I got drowned out by all the other nonsense. But the album legit just felt like every single
give you a sample, dog.
throwaway that he made for the year, and he just threw it into one. And for the few fans that did actually enjoy these songs, to make matters worse for them, even though Skilly had been gone for the whole year, this album wasn't even on streaming platforms either. While his American fans would grow from his features, the Jamaicans were starved once again. And to be fair, one good thing did come out of this project, a standout track that the Jamaicans instantly took attention to and ran up to millions of views effortlessly in their starvation. A song called New Gears that was so tough, everybody was rinsing it going right into 2025, with even Masika coming online to say that it's one of the best songs he's heard in a long time. But even so, that was not enough to make up for his disappearance and lackluster quality.
Gonna say, yo, album trashy, man, give you a hit. No, yeah, say, yo, that no enough for one more, dog. You see, that's why, yo.
Music. And some may have thought that the success of New Gears would bring him back to Jamaica in 2025, but that could not have been further from the truth. Because if Skillibeng was contemplating becoming a feature artist before, the next song he would do would make that choice extremely obvious, because it would become the biggest financial move he would ever make. Around the end of 20...
Man, catch it. What the song name? The song with the Caribbean girl, them, I don't know if she even Caribbean, I don't know her name. I don't remember the song either. I have to hear it start play for shit.
2024, Jamaican producer Silent Addy would have the desire to make an extremely international dancehall record, and in the process of doing so would decide to feature an African artist on this dancehall beat, an up-and-coming artist from Ghana by the name of Molly. And when she would post it, the song would go absolutely crazy in her country, spawning TikTok trends.
But remember one time she did stand up, I don't remember if it was she, but somebody did stand up and do the dance at Yui, near Migley Road, and I say, yo, why them I do that? Why so people are drive? Come on now.
And starting a dance challenge that would eventually take over the world. And when the producer saw this, he knew that there would be no better Jamaicans to add onto the record than the most international artists right now, Shenseea, and of course, Skillibeng. And as much as he knew that the song would be successful, not a single soul in or out of the Caribbean could have predicted that this song would become an absolute worldwide banger, as the Shake It to the Max remix would garner hundreds of millions of streams across all platforms, and putting millions upon millions of dollars in the pockets of all of the artists involved and giving them shows all across the world. With Skillibeng's verse being one of the most viral moments of the song, one could even say that it was the biggest moment of his entire career. And this would have been the most perfect time to capitalize and go on another generational run. But once again, he would continue to bask in the stardom of the international market while only dropping about 2 singles for the majority of the year. And he would continue his trend once again of not really giving anyone anything, but then after enough time has passed, drop a project and hope that it all works out. And while there was a lot more genuine effort that went into this EP, I can see it, it would appear that maybe people were done waiting, because by the time this would drop in August, as summer was already coming to an end, most of the community just
not even know what's a Skillibeng a drop album. What?
Really care that much anymore. Skillibeng was now mostly being praised for his features, but his own personal songs for the first time in his career were not going nearly as crazy. And while his global monthly listeners would rise, the cult fanbase that he had spent so many years
I guess me I see it now. Yeah, true. Me I see it now.
building would slowly start to lose interest. And there is no better example of how bad this got than this year, 2026. So bad to the point that we are now making a video.
That video I made before the something they dropped the craft. Yo, craft tough, you're free. Craft tough. Wrong list craft tough. No, but craft tough. The coffee.
About it today. Since the beginning of the year, Skillibeng has been featured on a multitude of successful songs. Songs like Getting Paid by SARS featuring Asake and Wizkid, Rob 49 Bad Bitch featuring Skilly, Mink SB featuring Skepta and Lol J, Ballerina with Rema and Disco Neil, and probably others that I haven't even heard of yet. He was even on a Spanish song called Chief Keef. And in all of this time of Skillibeng doing features and touring the world off of his massive hits, we are now almost in July, literally 7 months into the year, and the number of songs that Skillibeng has dropped on his own page for his fans back home has only been one song. One singular actual dancehall song for the Jamaican community since the year has started. While every other week what we see in our feed is FT Skillibeng. And listen, I just have to say this, I have no problem obviously with Skillibeng making amazing moves overseas for his career.
Jada Kingdom featuring Skillibeng. Oh my god. Jada Kingdom featuring Governor. Oh my god. The Jada Kingdom have a song with Crawford here. You know, reach levels yet. You know, them probably need to build more chemistry musically and thing. But yo, Jada Kingdom and Skillibeng, they have like 3 or 4 feature. Oh.
Career and for the music. Being featured on big songs is amazing for any artist's career, but why does it require you to completely disappear from your actual fan base in order to do that? Skillibeng had one of the most unique and insane runs this genre, this whole entire region had ever seen. Some people even viewed him as the second coming of Vybz Kartel and is even still to this day referred to as the Prince of Dancehall. But as he continues to become more and more distant from his community, that title more and more fades into obscurity. But maybe he saw something that we did not see. Maybe he saw what being the #1 in dancehall felt like and decided that he would rather be a smaller creature in a massive ocean than be the king of a tiny pond. Perhaps the money was so crazy that it was a choice that any of us would have made. And to be fair, he has done a lot of Jamaican features as well, having a crazy song with Asian last year, Tip Remix, and recently dropping a song with Coffee to facilitate her return, which I think is a major part of the reason why, even though Skillibeng has been distant, nobody has ever truly hated him or felt like he completely discarded his Caribbean roots, which I guess is the right way to go international if you're going to do it. But please, drop some more music, bro. We've all been supporting you and we genuinely want to see you shine. But speaking of Skillibeng helping Coffee to return to
the kids miss you. Come back home. Okay. That was the video for Skillibeng abandoned dancehall. I don't think him abandoned dancehall. I just think him dip on different things. And you can't blame him. He want to go bigger than that, him said. Him say he want to go past dancehall, he want to bring the music out and place. And right now, I think him a do it. Him can rest, dog. You know, he must hard for y'all build a good tune, build a hit. But sometimes it just come to you. But you know, make him doing thing. Bye-bye.